But it's going to be pretty exciting, so make sure you've got your eyes on the skies. There's 4 of them, all extra 300s, all former Red Arrows pilots. Please welcome 2000. Now the blades have arrived in mantle formation. We've got blades 1 and 4 in the middle and blades 2 and 3 on the outside. Now our area is gathered where the Red Arrows are based. It's all about the art of precision, but at the blades we like to do things a little bit differently, and our mantra is to create order out of chaos. So our first manoeuvre of the afternoon from the card formation, this is the blades champagne fountain. Now things are about to get pretty exciting from the blades. The team are going to fly directly back towards us. They're all going to break in front of one another. There's going to be 10G in every single cockpit, just a few feet apart. Get ready for it. This is the blades break. Now the blades don't break these seats in the cockpit. Blades on either side. Now they're flying aileron rolls and barrel rolls. The leading aircraft are flying the aileron roll, the trailing aircraft are flying the barrel roll. Now blades 2 and 3 are on the outside, they're flat rolling away, and if you keep your eyes on blades 1 and 4 in the middle, they're actually going to lose speed and fall backwards through their own smoke.
I can do that. Evans, our solo display pilot. Andy's a lovely guy, but when he's inside the cockpit, he is absolutely bonkers. Now he's ended up upside down here, flying an outside loop, so he's pushing negative G, all the blood bulging to his head. He's snap rolling his aircraft back down towards the runway. And Andy's now preparing to put his aircraft into an upward going spin, which is a manoeuvre called a launcher back. That's actually a Czechoslovakian word which means headache or hangover, and as you watch Andy, I'm sure you can appreciate why it's been given that name. Now Andy will be back a little bit later on. He's going to fly off in the distance before he rejoins the formation. Brave few who fought in the Battle of Britain. It's beautiful and it is simply called the Spitfire roll. We've got blade 1 Mark Cutmore, otherwise known as Cutty. This is Cutty's second year of leading the team. In the Air Force he was a Jaguar pilot, spent 3 years with the Red Arrows, and his last posting in the RAF was as the National Advisor to the Saudi football display team out in Saudi Arabia. Cutty joined the Blades in 2008 as our solo display pilot before taking over leadership of the team in 2012. He's joined by Blade 2 Chris Carter. Chris Carter was a Jaguar pilot in the Royal Air Force and also in the Red Arrows. Chris also flies with Virgin Atlantic as a first officer, and he does that part-time alongside flying with the Blades. Now this next manoeuvre, the Blades are going to come all the way down the display line. It's a great one for the cameras if you've got it out. Blade 4 is upside down. Everyone else is doing what we call putting in a boot full of rudder, 40-degree angles to one another. This is how the Blades do crazy flying. There, so the rest of the team can hold that formation nice and tight all the way down the display line. So in the Blade 3 position today we have the newest member of the team, Ian Smith, otherwise known as Smithy. In the Air Force, Smithy started off as a Chinook pilot before joining the Jaguar Force. He then went on to fly with the Red Arrows for 3 years, and his last posting in the RAF was as the officer commanding for the Battle of Britain memorial flight where he was lucky enough to fly the Spitfire. Now the blades are going to fly back towards us and pull at half-second intervals as they go into the vertical for the blade snake. Now we don't fly a particularly big aircraft. The extra 300 has a 24-foot wingspan. Just to show that we can do some big air, the blades are going to go over the top using the smoke to create the whirlpool. Now, as I said, we do operate as an airline. We fly about 400 passengers every year in the front seat of our aeroplane. So if you fancy doing a few formation aerobatics and experiencing what it's like to be in the front seat at the mercy of a former Red Arrow pilot, then make sure you check us out and we can tell you all about how you can do that. Now we're moving into the second half of the display. Mark's pulling the team up into the vertical in a quarter clover and he's split the team into with the blade span brake. Now blades 2 and 3 are on the outside, they're pulling up for some synchronised spinning, and it's the blade on the left who's calling the manoeuvre and the blade on the right who's copying what he hears on the radio. And if you look into the distance, blades 1 and 4 have just pulled up into the verticals. They're going to stall towards each other, crossing just a few feet apart to the butterfly craft. Now blades 1 and 4 are coming back towards us, and if you've seen the movie Top Gun and remember the birdie moment, we have recreated that this afternoon. Blade 1 is inverted on top of blade 4. Blade 1 is going to push negative G, blade 4 is going to pull positive G into the vertical, and they're going to stall away from each other to the blade mirror stall split. Now what you're about to see shouldn't really happen in an aircraft. It's a demonstration of the amazing capability of 3 years. He was actually the first member of the Red Arrows to be chosen to go back and manage the team as Red 10. And his last post from the RAF was also as the National Advisor to the Saudi Corps, handing over that role to Cutty whilst he came to join the Blade. Now Andy's also our ambidextrous member of the team because he's flown as Blade 2 and Blade 3 on the left and right hand side of the formation. G as he goes over the top there in a manoeuvre that is technically known as the Humpty Roll. Now we are approaching the end of our display this afternoon. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here. It's a fantastic location for us to come and display. It's very rare that we can do this. So we hope you've had a great time this afternoon, helping celebrate the 75th anniversary for Manchester Airport. But for now we've got blades 1, 2 and 3 flying back towards us for the blade palm tree split. So ladies and gentlemen, that was the 2013 Blade display team. It's been a pleasure. We hope you enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Now I've asked Professor what it feels like to do that, and he said he's never been inside a washing machine, but if he did, he would imagine that that is exactly what it would feel like.